This is Jeff Borger from WRGE. In our studios today, we have Phyllis and Herb Silverman from the Senior Resource Foundation of Ocala. And I met Phyllis when they had a senior event out at the college, out on 200. And the organization that she's with just fascinated me because I know we have a lot of older listeners to our radio station. And Phyllis, your organization is just what our listeners are looking for. So I invited you both in here, and Herb said he's probably not going to say too much. He's going to defer to Phyllis. So Phyllis, tell us about the Senior Resource Foundation of Ocala. I am really excited that you're here to share with us what this is all about.
Well, thank you, and thank you for inviting both of us. The Senior Resource Foundation of Ocala is about a year and a half old. The driving point behind it is to get seniors up and out and active and being very much a part of everything that's going on. Too many times when people retire, they seem to retire from life as well as from their job. And they have a lot of life left, and I'd like to see them get out and enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. And how are you doing that? I mean, I know a lot of people that are in that scenario that you're saying, and they just don't seem like they know what to do with their retirement. So how do you motivate them and get them out there again?
Well, we hope to provide activities that bring people out, as well as programs that involve a lot of seniors helping other seniors. And it's interesting that many people want to volunteer their time. And when you give them that opportunity and show them where they can volunteer, they're right there for you.
Now, you gave me a little list of some of the things of the different programs that you're working with. So I'm just going to kind of tell you some of the things that you told me, and then you can explain what they are. You said you have something called a Friendly Visitor Program. What is a Friendly Visitor Program?
Just what it sounds like. There are a lot of seniors who are alone, no family nearby. They're housebound. They can't get out the way they used to, and loneliness can kill. What we do is provide a friend, a volunteer who goes to these homes once a week for about an hour and just has conversation, plays cards, whatever the person chooses to do, they provide that friendship and that connection.
And who are these people? Are they volunteers that go out, or?
Everyone that is involved with the organization is a volunteer. We have no paid staff.
And are you looking for people to be volunteers for this, or how do you find the people?
Well, if you go to our website, srfofocala.org, you will find all the information there, as well as a piece of paper which you fill out and you indicate you want to be a volunteer. You tell us your name and your phone number, etc., and then we ask you to have a background check. Because these days, unfortunately, that's just part of life.
And do you pay for the background check, or do the people have to pay them by themselves?
Fortunately, the sheriff's office does it for us for free.
Great.
So,
okay. And then you said you have something called the Seniors at Work program. That sounds kind of intriguing. What's that? I thought people were retired. They don't want to work.
Surprisingly, I think they do. First of all, Jeff, remember we are at 8.9% inflation in this country. If you're on a fixed income, that can change the entire scenario for you. So there are some people who would want to go back to work really just to get the extra money. And then there are people who retire, and people are retiring more earlier these days. So let's say you're 66 years old and you retire, and it's wonderful, and you're playing golf and you're playing tennis and you're playing cornhole and all that. And then, big game, cornhole. And then one day you wake up and you say, okay, I probably have another 20 years ahead of me. Am I going to be doing this every day? So there are people who just decide they want to go back and get back into the mix, so to speak. So we have put the word out, and we've been getting companies calling us with positions part-time. And we have folks who read about it, who call us and want to apply. So we have a little application on our website again, and then we forward it to the employer. We then step back out, and it's between those two parties whatever happens. But we try to put them together.
So unlike what we were talking about before, they would be getting a paid position. This isn't volunteer.
Would be a paid position for folks.
What are some of the different things that people who might be working at then?
Well, we have the not Heart of Florida, the blood bank here is looking for instance, a courier part-time. The senior services is looking for a driver. We have someone looking for a salesperson. And those are the kinds of jobs. I mean, they're a variety of jobs, and hopefully we can see people, getting these positions.
Interesting. Okay. Then we have something that you said, it's called the Volunteer Patient Advocate. And I think this is a real good one because people really need an advocate. So tell us how that works.
Okay. Yes. Well, the Patient Advocate Program came about because I was patient not too long ago and had a less than sterling experience and realized I worked in healthcare as a marketer and PR person for 37 years, and it took me 50 phone calls to access what I needed. And I thought, well, if there is an older person without that experience behind them, what are they going to do? So I approached the local hospitals with the idea of having a group of volunteers who would, when a person is discharged, if they're confused and they need help, call our number and we will have a volunteer help them work through this mystery of healthcare paperwork. And I have 5 volunteers, including a retired head nurse and someone who is bilingual. Mm-hmm. So I think it's going to be a really important program, and I'm hoping that people will respond and that it will take off as well as I expect it to.
So is it the hospitals that are calling you or the patients themselves?
The hospitals will give the patient the number, and then the patient will make the phone call. And it can all be done on the telephone. There won't be any need for personal visits. But there's so much, how convoluted healthcare paperwork can be. And I think lots of people need help.
Wow. All right. And then we have something that, years ago they called it the generation gap. And I thought the generation gap was kind of closing, but I guess it's coming back again because now you have something called the intergenerational program that you're working on.
Yes, I'm trying to institute a program, I think about the 8th grade level. And it would be an educational program for about a month where older folks could come in and actually tell the students what it means to age. And I think, when you're 12 years old, you really don't have a notion of what it is to age. But I think it would build a level of respect and understanding. And conversely, I think it's good for the seniors to listen to the kids and hear what their thinking is these days. So I'm working hard to get this going.
That sounds exciting. And then you have something that you're also working on called the Tapestry of Life. And maybe we can get Herb involved because I know you told me that he was involved in that, getting that online and so forth. So,
well, he's the cameraman, and I in this case I'm Barbara Walters. So,
okay. So Herb, let's jump over here and talk to you a little bit about this Tapestry of Life. What does Barbara Walters talk about during these segments?
Well, and first of all, thank you very much for inviting us today. But the Tapestry of Life is, for the most part, a short video that we do every other Thursday, both on our website and on Facebook. And it's basically 55 and older that have amazing stories that people don't understand or appreciate. For the older people, it's almost like very involved because fortunately it's going to their age and saying, oh, here's what happened a long, long time ago. For the younger people, it could be very important just because maybe they've never even heard of some of the things that they're talking about. So Phyllis, like I said, is Barbara Walters. So she answers the questions. And for the most part, it's really funny because it's just like she introduces herself and the organization. She introduces the other person, and for about 8 to 10 minutes, they just talk continuously. So it's fascinating. It really is.
So are you looking for people to tell their life stories on this program or not?
It's not really a life story. It's basically a career story. I mean, we have a gentleman who ran NASA, for instance. We had another man who worked on water problems in the Middle East. I mean, these are brilliant people. They're older people, but if someone would listen, they would realize, that older people still have contributed so much to this world. And I did one about a friend of mine who is a cabaret singer, and it's fun, it's interesting. I am learning so much by doing this and having a really good time.
So are you looking for people to come on the show, or
yes.
do you?
Oh yes, if anybody's interested and feel that they'd like to sit down, it's very easy. It's very comfortable. We don't, it's a very nice environment, shall we say. I ask very nice questions. I don't pressure people. But as Herb said, once I ask a question, basically I just sit back and they speak. Because
Yeah, the whole idea of all of this is the fact that especially for the older people, the younger people understand that sometimes the older people, they think that unfortunately that everyone has gray hair, that everyone maybe has a walker or a wheelchair, that they basically eat dinner at 3:30 and by 5 o'clock they're done for the day. And that's absolutely, totally wrong. So what we're trying to do is break that mold. And like I said, one of the ideas is Tapestry of Life, because when they realize that we have a NASA person or that we have, someone that is very, very well read and well traveled, people understand and appreciate the fact that maybe that they're just, not just whittling away. So that is why it's important.
So are these programs somehow being incorporated with the schools at all, or students to see this, or?
At some point, if we do get this intergenerational going, I think it would be very helpful to show some of these, because I think they would appreciate the fact they know NASA. I mean, that's something all the kids know. And to think that this older man had so much to do with it would probably be very startling to them for a few minutes. But, I hope to use all of this because, ageism is alive and well. And anything we can do to overcome that is really helpful.
Talk about that a little bit. I mean, it seems like senior citizens are kind of thrown away. I'm getting there myself, and sometimes I think, people don't want to hear us.
Well, there's a lot of condensation. People, when they see gray hair and a line or two on the face, there's a tone of voice that occurs, sort of this patronizing, and honestly, most of us don't have to be patronized. We're okay, and it's. I'd like that to end. I'd like for seniors to be accepted as much a part of society as anyone else, and I think they lose the fact that there's so much experience and knowledge and know-how that seniors have, having lived as long, as if we're lucky enough to live that long. And I think it's just being wasted and not appreciated. And I think that's a shame.
I think that our motto, of course, is helping today's seniors find a better tomorrow. Our unofficial tagline is, it's not age, it's attitude. And that's the whole concept of what we're trying to do. I think a lot of people understand, but as I always said, and I believe that this is true, everyone is getting older. So eventually everyone is going to be in the same situation. Even if they're 20 right now, eventually, like Phyllis just mentioned, they will be older eventually. And won't you like to live in a world that you're still productive, that you're still involved in what's going on? And that's what we, as far as the Senior Resource Foundation of Ocala, is trying to do.
And why does it happen so quickly? It seems like you just blink and we're getting older. My goodness gracious. Wow.
I've blinked a number of times, let me put it to you that way. I'm very proud of the fact that I'm 84 years old and still going strong and doing this and have as much pep as a 25-year-old usually. So
84 years young, you mean? You really, I wouldn't expect you said that. Wow.
Yes, wow, that's right. I'm an old lady. And if anybody raises any objections, I can speak with the voice of experience. Mm-hmm. So when I'm talking to other seniors, I know where I'm coming from because I'm one of them, and I understand. And I just am very fortunate to have the amount of energy that I have. And I want to use it until I don't have it anymore. So
now, this organization, Senior Resource Foundation of Ocala, did you start this yourself, and how long has it been in existence?
I started it about a year and 4 months ago. And it is my creation, if you will. And the mission, actually, which we have not mentioned yet, is to positively and continually improve the physical, mental, and social well-being of seniors. And that's exactly what we're trying to accomplish.
Well, you're a very ambitious lady, and all of these different projects that you talked about, I mean, my mind just spins thinking to do all these things. Do you have a bunch of people helping you?
We have some people helping us, yes, but we are a small organization. So I'm fortunate I have some nice volunteers. Yes.
Okay.
I think also we do have a lot of radio, television, newspapers that's very, very helpful to get the word on the street, because we're probably unique in this sense. We are not a medical field. We're not in the medical industry, but at the same time, I think that people have embraced what we're going on, and I think it's been very, very helpful in the future.
And you said you wanted to mention something about the fundraisers that you have.
Yes. Just want to tell people that we will have our second annual Bark in the Park on October 16th, which is devoted to the dogs. We say Senior Resource Foundation is going to the dogs. And in March of 2023, we plan ahead. We are having a very big event at the College of Central Florida, which is called Excellent Adventures, an expo for active seniors. And more about that will be coming out soon.
Okay, very good. Well, we've been talking to Herb and Phyllis Silverman from the Senior Resource Foundation of Ocala. Their website is srfofocala.org. SRF is for Senior Resource Foundation. And they also have a quick reference guide that I wanted to tell you folks about that has all kind of information about local assistance programs, from food, affordable health care, support groups in the area, and so forth. And if you contact us here at the radio station, we'll try to get that guide to you or tell you how you can get one. So thank you so much, Silverman folks, and all the best to you. God bless you. This has been a fascinating interview, and like I say, I think this is what our listeners need to hear, because like I said, I think we have a lot of people in this age group that may benefit from this. So thank you for coming in today.
It's our pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much.